Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Sitting in front of my plant today. Can't quite get my angle right, but it means my message will be nice and clear. So, welcome back to day 10 already of Live at 11:45, and these are going to keep on going until the first week of November. So, live at 11:45 is designed to put your visibility first. What do I mean by that? I want you to be able to be seen and heard. I want you to be able to be ready to be seen and heard, and I would love you to have the confidence to be seen and heard. And this has been a specialist topic of mine for the last decade. Whilst I've seen many people come and go in this area, I've also seen many people who have evolved their work and changed it. Now, my work has evolved, but the work that I do creates more visibility for you. So you're seen more professionally. For you busy business owners, your businesses are more seen and heard. And for those of you who are professionals, you get to raise your profile and enhance your career too. So it's a win-win for everybody. Let me just take a sip of water. So, I'm passionate about this subject because I accidentally discovered that there were 5 really key pivotal things to put in place when you're looking to boost your visibility. You might already be well known, you might already be seen and heard. There will always be a part of your professional career where you're looking to go to the next level or the next step or take the next step, literally. There will be times where you might be getting started and have some sort of anxiety or feel nervous around being seen and heard. And there'll also be times where, and I know that I think I've coached more people in this space where you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, and you evolve your work and something changes, and then it might challenge you personally as well as professionally, but you'll have new ways of wanting to put yourself out there. And whilst I discovered this 5 steps, which actually was created when I quadrupled my salary when I worked in financial services, the thing that obviously that was great and brought benefits, but the thing is it isn't always just about more money and more clients. Sometimes for you it's more freedom to have the sort of business that you dreamed of having when you left that job, or freedom to create the sort of business that you want to while you're doing the job, while you're establishing which path you're gonna travel down. And the other thing is, one of the things that I've come to realise through my own life is, and through the lives of many clients that I work with, is if you are not being heard and not being seen, you feel like you're not being taken seriously. And that feeling is one of the worst feelings that many people can feel professionally. So that's the reason why I do the work. So despite having identified these 5 very pivotal steps to then raise your profile, boost your visibility, get yourself out there, I then had a confidence knock, and that confidence knock meant that I took less for myself. And the reason that I share all of this with you is because I don't want you to be that person that sees yourself as less than, sees yourself within a corporation or within a business as less than, and sees yourself as not being able to do a thing or the thing. Now, the funny thing about this topic for me, and like I say, I've specialised in it for a decade, is that some people will say, oh, but it's a bit vague and it doesn't really mean anything. But here's what it has meant for many of the people that I've worked with. And funny enough, I've got my whiteboard in front of me. I'm just planning out some bits and pieces. It's meant that they've been able to not only physically overcome any fear of public speaking, but they've been able to take that public speaking, and it's what they've done with it. They've been able to be guests on podcasts, on interviews, on the radio. Some of them have even made it to TV, although I don't coach people on how to get into the press and the TV. They've been able to have a stronger voice and make a stand for what they believe in. They've been able to go within different industries, and this is one that kind of surprises me, but also warms my heart the most. That solo business owner who has been sort of doing one-to-one business for a while has then been able to go and teach or train or coach or mentor in some really big international and nationally known brands. And the feeling of being able to go into a corporate setting as a force for good is one of the things that, you know, leads people's heart with joy. So if you're watching this live or on the replay and you would like to get more involved in maybe sharing what you do in a corporate setting, or maybe sharing more of what you do with business owners or entrepreneurs, then give me a thumbs up or a love heart. And if you want to tell us specifically which way you want to go with that, or all of it, then type in the box and do let us know. Because this is the other thing about visibility. I get that sometimes it's nice to kind of sit in the background and watch, but you know how many times people comment, either live or on the replay, they comment here, they say, this is what I want to do, here's what I'm looking for, and somebody sees that comment and they get contacted. Or how many times I read it back and then somebody will ask me for the thing, because visibility is my specialism, I stay in my lane, that's what I do. But then I say, oh, but I do know of someone who I might be able to refer you to, and I know because you've let me know here and let others know. So this is an important part of being visible, an important part of this. Now today, I specifically wanted to share a few nuggets with you on using your words. And the reason why I want to do this is because quite often we think that the only time it matters is when we're doing the thing. So Alan's doing public speaking. So for example, as Alan's given that information there, let me work with public speaking as a way. So when I talk about using your words, yes, this can refer to written content, could be posts, could be blogs, could be emails to the client, could be your book, it could be your ebook, your information. Yes, it also does apply to video, especially live video, where people tend to get really conscious on having the right words. There is no such thing as right words. It's you sharing your gift in a framework that helps. I always say there's freedom in the framework, a framework that helps you to lay it out so that people can really pick up what you're putting down. And so video, live stream, and sometimes webinar. And then the other way, of course, is public speaking. So using your words becomes really important. Now, even in the last 6 months from today of shooting this, I, funnily enough, was just speaking to somebody and telling them how, different systems and different frameworks and things that I've put in place. Some work, some haven't worked. But one of the things that I realised at the beginning of March, after I'd lost like 90% of my own business clients, some were corporate, was that actually, by following these 5 key steps, even in a pandemic, even though this hasn't ever happened before, and we've got no kind of, point of reference, even following these steps still helped. And, in the last 6 months, I went on to fill, I filled a workshop in 8 days from like nothing to the day of delivery. I've been able to work with more corporates, even in the pandemic. I've been able to host live events, even in the pandemic. And the key part, or the part underpinning that, has been speaking. And you might be forgiven for thinking it's about being articulate on the video, it's about getting the words right. And actually, that's not true. What I found is it's not just about how we speak at the time that we're offering somebody our book, our services, or anything else like that. It's about the build up around it as well. And this is where using your words becomes important. So this is true actually for video as well as it is public speaking. And, even for me, thankfully I do these every day and I create video content for some clients. I've got a couple of clients that are part of professional networks. Alan is doing a lot of public speaking. I've got my next speaking gig in 2 days' time, Thursday, 2 days' time. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you're probably confused because you'll get this tomorrow. So my next speaking gig is in 2 days' time, and then I've got another one booked for next week. Most of the speaking gigs I do these days are paid speaking gigs, and some are free. It doesn't make so much of a difference as to what you say on them. but it's really important that people get you and get what you do. So let me give you an example of this, like using your words piece. So very recently, I challenged a couple of clients, private clients, to create a video around something they wanted to create. Obviously, I want to keep that confidential to them. And I asked them to describe something. So let me give you an example, and I say this because on the floor I've got some because it's a long story. I was speaking to another client about, you know, nature and bringing nature in the house and all of that kind of stuff, especially if I'm sat working behind a phone or a computer. So I could, by example, say I'm bringing nature in the house. I love nature. I love being outside, but I'm bringing it in the house because I'm working in front of my computer. Or I could get descriptive and use my words. Now, why would you want to do that? You want the ability to describe any element, any area of your life, you know, whether it's your private life that you're talking about, you know, and know how to describe that in a way that's not like, oh, too much information, whether it's your professional life. You don't want to say things like, I've got a pen on my desk. You want to say, in my hands is a pen, and the click that the pen makes when I switch it on makes me know that I'm ready for action. And there I go, you know, as the nib of the pen touches the paper and my hand glides across the page, I also find that my writing glides across the page, sometimes in very, very quick succession, and sometimes more considered and slower, while I put my hand on my cheek, look to the ceiling, and look at an invisible space for inspiration of what's going to come from the ethers, from the air, into my head, into my arm, and through my pen, and glide across the page. That's just one example of getting more descriptive and using your words. So what is using your words? What is this about when it comes to speaking or video? It's about your ability to describe something in a way that's emotive and has the person that's watching or listening want to engage with it or do it too. So when I say to you, I was speaking to somebody recently who talked about bringing nature from the outside inside, I might want to explain to you what it is about nature that I love. I might want to explain to you what it is I'm bringing from nature from the outside inside. So, as an example, I'm going to describe something. On the floor are 3 of these actual objects. These 3 objects, when I first saw them, had a sheen so glossy it could be related to the glistening of a raindrop that just catches the sun. It could even be the sort of glisten of a very beautifully groomed horse's coat, that beautiful glow that you see from there. It might even be the glistening that you see and the sheen that you see on something that's been highly polished with a slight sheen that comes off. Anyway, these objects are round. They're round, and because I have 3 of them, if I was to shake them together, they would make a little bit of a clanking sound. Imagine some pieces, small pieces of wood maybe as they clank, which is ironic because these things came from where wood comes from. They actually came from a tree. They came from a tree, and about this time of year, a little bit earlier, normally in September, in many places, many parks and many places where these objects are grown, they fall to the ground. And if they don't fall to the ground, the sound of them clattering either on the grass, and the soft thud on the grass, or a pavement that might happen to be nearby, the clack, 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 you'll find that there's quite a few school children that might try and collect these. Also, apparently these are a very good ingredient in Chinese medicine, herbal medicine too. Either way, as these objects hit the ground, they're highly shiny, highly desirable, and you know, those school kids have been known to put a hole through them, a piece of string, and back in the day have contests, hit them against each other to see whose breaks first. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Anyone know what I'm describing? Now, you might not know what I'm describing. So I'm getting loads of things going across my phone. You might not know what I'm describing. You might have a guess, and you're free to have a guess here if you'd like to. But what I'm describing are conkers. This is just one part of nature. Yes, I love the sound of the sea and the waves crashing on a beach. Yes, I love the wind and the rain hitting against the window if I'm inside, and maybe not so much against my face when I'm going for a run. Now, that's a kind of an over-exaggeration of using your words. But so many times I see people who are either publicly speaking or on video, and they're describing their love of their favourite food or drink or place to be, and they say, oh, I love it because it's so lovely. Tell us what's lovely about it. This is a kind of like a skill to muscle, if you like. The more you do it, the better that you get at it. And the better that you get at it, the better you get at describing your value, your products, and your services. So, today is a day that I traditionally call the Tuesday Tip Day. If you have a tip about your work that you would like to share, and you're going to share it by video or even through Facebook Live, and for those of you in the Visibility Vibes tribe, it's a perfect place for you to share it. For those of you that are sharing that, go in there, go in and create a video, create a Facebook Live, and describe something and get really descriptive. Now, it's important because often, for those of you that are selling and sharing your services, it's not something that people can even see. So if you can get more descriptive about how great it is for them and why you're the person doing it, this really helps them come to a decision. It might be yes, please. It might be yes, but not now. It might be not now, later. It might be no. Neither of those are right, wrong, good or bad. They're answers. And as long as you can really start to roll those words around your mouth, you'll find what you share to be more compelling to your audience, including those people that haven't met you yet. So if you're a freelancer, a consultant, a coach, an author, a speaker, writer, whatever it is that you're putting out there in the world, get used to using your words just a little bit more. Hopefully helpful. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow live at 11:45. Bye for now.